Welcome to the series where we're going to hopefully build the classic Frogger arcade game using Godot. If you're not familiar with what Frogger is, there's a really good demonstration of the original arcade game on Old Classic Retro Gaming. That's where I'm here. I'll put a link to this video in the description. It's a channel that I've been subscribed to for a long time. It's really, really good, especially if you're into retro gaming. And what we have here is actually the original arcade version on the screen. So the game is fairly straightforward. What you do is you have a frog. The frog's actually here at the moment, landing on a lily pad. And you start at the bottom of the screen and try and get to the frog to the top, filling each of the 5 bays. When you fill the 5 bays, they will get cleared. You go up a level, which effectively means the same map just gets faster and more difficult. And you keep going, trying to get the highest score you can. Down the bottom, you'll see there's the number of lives that you have. They don't get refreshed as you go from level to level. It just gets harder and harder. And on the right-hand side, there's a time progress bar as well. So each time a frog is created, you have a limited amount of time to get to the other end, this time reducing each time you go up a level. Then you'll notice the map is divided into 2 sections. We have the road section here, where the idea is to avoid the cars. And then we have the water section, where the idea is to do the opposite. You need to ride the logs and the turtles, and then get yourself into the bays. So if I press play here, you can see how the gameplay actually works. So we've got the frog here on a log, and then on the lily pads here, and then hopefully going up to a log at some point here. There we go. And going into one of the bays as well. Then the frog was recreated down the bottom here, and the whole thing starts over again. So the progress bar starts with a timer. We try to avoid the cars and things like that, and get ourselves then up to the other end. And that's pretty much all there is to it. In terms of what we're going to hopefully build on this series, we'll have 2 screens. The main screen is the entry point to the game. That's what you can see on the screen here. So we're going to have Frogger as a title, up to 10 of our best high scores, and then we'll have some visual stuff in the background. So some frogs wandering around, and we'll do a little shader for these rings as well. In terms of the game itself, it's going to look like this. I've tried really hard, as you can probably see, to recreate the original arcade version. I spent a lot of time actually measuring out speeds and pixels and things like that. And I think the gameplay is pretty similar actually to the original. There are a few subtle differences, but it's just as much fun, in my opinion, anyway, to play. So we have the road section down the bottom here, where we have to try and avoid the cars, or fail in my case. And then further up then we've got the log section, where we can float and try to settle on the lily pads, and also then get on the logs and get to one of the bays at the end, which I think, luckily, as I'm talking, I'm about to do here. There we go. Cool. So that's the kind of thing that we're going for. In terms of those assets, you'll find a link in the video description so you can get hold of the assets and build the game exactly the same as me if you want to, or obviously you can use your own assets. The link goes to a repository called Godot Frogger Starter here. This is literally just the assets. We're going to start completely from scratch in this particular series with Godot itself. You can get hold of those by going to code and download zip. And then in the README here, you'll find the links and credits to the music that was used, and also to the Kenny assets as well, where I really only used the lily pad and nothing else. So please download those if you want to use them, extract the zip somewhere, make yourself a brand new project in Godot, and I'll see you in the Godot IDE so we can make a start. Okay, so I have Godot open on the screen. I've just literally made a new project. If you're using Godot 4.5 or 4.4, something like that, you'll notice that mine looks a little bit different to yours. That's because I'm using 4.6, and that comes with a different default theme. Don't worry though, everything works exactly the same and looks pretty much exactly the same as well. The first thing we're going to do here is actually go into 2D view at the top rather than 3D view, and then import those assets. So I downloaded the assets from the repository, extracted the zip, and I've got this assets folder here. So double clicking inside there, we've got the fonts, images, and sounds. What I'm going to do is simply grab hold of this folder and drop it into the file system for the project, and that should import everything. Now I say should here, if you're using Godot 4.5.1, you might find that it continuously crashes whilst doing this, and that will be because it's failing to import the TrueType fonts. Godot 4.5.1 seems to have a particular problem with that. So if you are, I recommend using either the beta 4.6 or 4.5.0 or earlier, because it simply does not want to import fonts properly. At least I found that happening all of the time. Hopefully you've got the assets imported though, and you haven't had any crashes. Sometimes it does crash when you import assets this way. If it does, usually just reloading the project sorts everything out. So assuming that's gone okay for you, you are looking at Godot, you do have all the assets here. You should find that you've got a couple of fonts. It's the same font, a bold and a regular. We've got the images that we're going to use, and then also we've got the sounds as well from the music that we're going to use inside here. So the first thing to do is actually set up our window to be the correct size. To do that, I'm going to go to project settings, and then in the display window section on the left-hand side here, the viewport width is going to be 768 and the height is going to be 1024. Please make sure to use the same as me, because you'll see later on, this is sort of pixel perfect measured out to get the lanes and everything right for the game. Now this is the base resolution for the game. That means when the game is being played, it'll be 768 pixels wide internally and 1024 high. More than likely, though, you've got a much higher resolution screen, and this will appear teeny tiny for you. So what we'll do is we'll first of all stretch this to fit whatever window size you want to use. So in the stretch mode here, we'll stretch to canvas items. We're not using pixel art. We don't need the viewport stretching, and we'll keep the aspect ratio. So we always have exactly the correct aspect that we want for our game. And then what you can do is you can override the default starting window size, which won't override these pixels here. These will stay the same in game, but it will override the ones on the screen for you. So if you're using 4K, this window will be really tiny, so you'll want to make it bigger. We can do that by going to the advanced settings here and go to the window width and height override. Now, luckily here, you can use actually mathematical expressions to do this. If you want to say go twice as big, you could do 768 multiplied by 2, for example. That would make that 1536. I would like actually to go the other way. So I'm going to do 768 multiplied by 0.75, because I know already it's going to be a little bit tall for me when I'm demonstrating it to you. So mine's going to be 576 by 768. Please adjust that to whatever size you like to make a reasonable size window on the screen for you. With that done, I'm going to uncheck the advanced settings. Then another setting, and this is really personal taste more than anything, I'm going to type naming, if I can spell it correctly, into the filter at the top here. Then in the editor naming, switch the scene case naming to Pascal case, the script naming to Pascal case, and the node name casing, okay, it already is Pascal case. This is simply my personal preference. Please use whatever you're used to using. This is just what I like to do. So I'll clear out the filter there, and for now, I think we're done with the options. So I'm going to click close and do Control-S to save to embed all of that. And then finally, one last thing, when I created the project, I selected the mobile rendering, which you can see on the top right-hand side here. As long as you have 4+ or mobile, you should be good to go. Compatibility might give some problems later on when we use some particles. And with that said, we can start building the project. The first thing I'd like to do is turn the background here dark, because this light color is not going to be very good. So I'm going to go to Project Settings, and then in the filter at the top, type Clear. And in the rendering environment, default clear color, drag the slider all the way down. So we've got RGB of 12 or something like that. Something dark, anyway, that'll do. So I'll do close, Control-S to save. Now we can start building our level. To do that, we need a level scene. So I'll click the other node here, double click on node, change the name of this to level. And then we can do Control-S to save that. I'm going to make a new folder called scenes. And inside there, a new folder called level, and save the scene. And then the layouts, like many arcade games from the 1980s, for Frogger is deterministic in terms of positioning and based on a grid. We're going to do exactly the same thing here. So I'm going to turn on the grid snapping at the top, then click the 3 dots, configure snap. And here we want the steps on the grid to be 32 pixels, and we want 2 primary lines there. So every 64 pixels effectively. Click OK, and now we have a grid that we can use to lay out our level. In terms of the layout itself, it's hopefully going to look a little bit like this. So what we're going to have are actually only 5 sprites. We'll have a sprite at the top here, which will be the end goals section. And that's going to be positioned 128 pixels from the top, which leaves us UI space for the score, the high score, and also on the right-hand side, if I remember correctly, we have the level number. Then in the middle, we'll have another sprite for the rest area. We'll duplicate that for another rest area down the bottom here, and we'll leave ourselves 64 pixels of space for the lives on the left here. And on the right, we'll have a progress timer later on for the life of the frog. So with that in mind, let's start building it. So I'm going to open up the assets and open up the images, and we want the end too. So I'm going to drag and drop that onto here, grab hold of the move tool, and you should find, hopefully, that that's actually the right size. So I'm going to position that correctly here. The transform on the right-hand side is 384 in the X, and I say correctly here, but we need to actually be 128 in the Y. That's better. So we've got this 64 pixels of space at the top here, plus a little bit of space here. Then we can do the rest areas as well. So I'll drag in the rest1.png like this. Also position this in the middle here as well. Then I'm going to go to the select tool and scale this out a bit just by dragging the handles. I'm not too bothered about the scaling the X and Y not being the same proportion. That doesn't matter. But I'm going to put the rest area actually up against the edges of the screen like this. And then on the right hand side, go to the transform, and the Y position should be 546 if I remember correctly for this one. Yep, that's in the middle there. Then with the rest one selected, I'm going to right click and duplicate it and get hold of the move tool and drag this all the way down to the bottom here. And its Y position in the transform should be 928. And that should give us then 2 equal sections for the water and for the road. What we can do now is draw the water and the road. I'll do that by dragging in the simple white PNG, but I'll select the level first and then drag this in here like this. Then I'm going to get the select tool here and drag this out so it's going over the edges, so the left and right hand sides of the viewport here. It's obviously a little bit thin, so I'm going to drag it out so it goes over the middle of the rest area and goes up to the top of the goals here. And actually drag that also to the top here so it's drawn first. Change that to water. Then on the right hand side, go to the visibility and to the self-modulate. Drag this all the way down so it's much darker and give it a little bit of the blue tint for the water. Then I'm going to Control and D and duplicate that and change the name of this then to road. On the right hand side, go to the visibility, self-modulate, and actually drag these sliders back down to 0 here and make this some kind of grey like this. Get hold of the move tool and drag this down so that it's joining onto the edge of the road here. Get the select tool and position this like this, and that should be okay, I think, for what we need. So that done then, what we can do is we can run this. So I'm going to run the game, select the current scene, our level to run, and hopefully we see our game layout on the screen. Yay, we do, cool. And that's a good starting point then for building up the gameplay. So I'm going to close that down, close down the output. I think that's a good place to end this video. I hope you enjoyed that one. In the next one, what we're going to do is make the frog scene and get it sort of rotating and animating when we press the keys on the keyboard. So I'll see you there for that one. Thanks very, very much for watching.